By God's will, we're glad to have you all here from around the world. If you're new, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have you ever imagined living under a sky that might collapse at any moment? A place where the only protection is prayer and the sound of bombs is louder than laughter?
Gaza isn't just a place anymore. It's become a symbol of pain, resistance, and a hope that's constantly being smothered. Kids grow up with no future. Mothers cry into the soil that's being stolen from them day by day. Meanwhile, Israel stands behind concrete walls and military might, acting arrogant, thinking power can buy them eternity.
But the skies never forget. The earth carries anger, and when the cries of the oppressed reach God's throne, nature itself begins to move, not with weapons, but in more deadly ways.
Fires, storms, droughts, and tsunamis from the past seem to be rising again.
Is all this just coincidence? Or is it a form of divine justice, a punishment not delivered by human hands, but by a force far greater? This is a story of inevitable consequence, of nature standing up for the oppressed, and of a nation that thought it could challenge heaven without facing any fallout. Let's break this down into parts. In Gaza, life isn't about dreams anymore. It's about survival.
Palestinian kids grow up under a sky that could fall at any second. Every step they take is shadowed by fear.
Gunfire is more common than laughter. Homes that once offered safety are now ruins soaked in tears.
Land passed down for generations is being taken without mercy.
Space is getting tighter, suffocating both physically and emotionally. Gaza isn't just under a physical siege, it's under a human one too.
Far on the other side, something unseen begins to respond. Israel, a nation built on ambition and force, starts to shake.
One disaster after another hits. It's as if nature itself can no longer tolerate the cruelty. Every new day brings a new crisis to Israel. Is this all random?
Or is it divine justice that can't be stopped by propaganda or missiles?
Part 3, the firestorm over Jerusalem. Wednesday, April 23rd, a gentle breeze turned into a monster.
In seconds, a small spark exploded into a raging inferno. The hills around Jerusalem were swallowed by fire. Flames danced like hellish dragons, devouring homes, forests, and streets.
Smoke filled the air. Some people had to evacuate. Others watched helplessly as their homes turned to ash. This wasn't the first warning, but somehow Israel still refuses to listen. Part 4, when the rain stops falling. The year 2025 brought the worst drought in Israel's history. The skies refused to rain. The earth cracked, crops dried up, water reservoirs hit rock bottom. The Israeli Water Authority reported that this winter was the driest in over a century. Rainfall was only half the usual amount.
The suffering of Palestine is a cry heard by the heavens.
But this isn't just a number, it's a sign, a warning from the heavens. When people become arrogant and oppressive, the earth hesitates to give them life.
February 2021. Even the sea turned angry. With no explosions or sirens, the Israeli coastline turned into a death zone. A mysterious oil spill poisoned over 160 kilometers of coast. Dead birds littered the shore.
Turtles washed up lifeless. Fishermen lost their livelihoods. The smell of death rose from a sea once seen as peaceful. This wasn't just an environmental disaster. It felt like a curse.
Just as Israel was preparing another attack on Gaza, a massive sandstorm swept through, like a slap from the skies. A country used to high-tech warfare was paralyzed by an invisible force.
Dust and sand covered streets, buried buildings, and forced military plans to be abandoned. No strategy can work against a storm that carries a message from the heavens.
Before the sand even settled, a giant flood swept through the land. Roads were blocked, cities drowned, transport systems shut down. One disaster after another shattered Israel's defenses, just as they were preparing more assaults on Gaza. Nature seemed to be shouting, "Enough!"
And this isn't just now. These lands have received warnings for centuries. In 2010, Mount Carmel burned for 3 days. Over 12,000 hectares of forest destroyed. In 749 AD, a powerful earthquake hit the Galilee. In 1927, another struck Jericho. Even 10,000 years ago, a